Hello everybody, welcome to the Queen of Coins Tarot. As you know, this is a channel that's just chatting at the back fence. I like to be fun and social. I do this for my own entertainment. I actually love to read. Reading is my favorite thing to do besides healing and selling crystals. This is just part of my business, but reading is just something I really love. I'm going to try to get out 3 videos today. They're going to be a little bit shorter than usual, but I know that there's 6 games going to be in the World Cup today, so I want to see at least something. That's going to be an exciting day. This channel is for fun and entertainment. Like I say, it's allegedly, I don't know anything. We let the cards talk. And so today we're going to be looking at several things that are on my mind. Today we're going to talk about Doria and Meghan. For right now, in this video, we're talking about Doria and Meghan. Oh, and let me introduce you to my skull from Richmond that I just unwrapped. This is one of my lead skulls in my temple. He's one of my personal teacher skulls. He will never be sold. He is one of my very, very best and brightest lead teachers. So glad to unwrap him. This weekend, I'm dedicating to cleaning up my office and getting myself more settled. As you know, we just moved 6 weeks ago into this house. In fact, yesterday, we just got our bed delivered for the main bedroom. So my husband is finally not sleeping on the sofa anymore, so that's really exciting. This teacup is for tea. I don't do tea readings. That's just not part of my thing. So let's get started. Let's open the space. I'm really excited about seeing what the cards have to say today. We're going to do some, I'm going to try to get into healing too, if I can. I may not be able to get to everything. Like I say, there's World Cup on and whatnot, so could be good, could be not, but we're going to try. I was thinking of so many things last night that really, really were on my mind. I'm also wondering, in one of the readings I'm going to do today, excuse me, I'm also wondering if this security row, excuse me, is it really about just security that Harry and Meghan want? The changes made because he needs the whistles and the lights and everything like that? Or, I'm just wondering, and it's fun to speculate, and that's all this is speculation, but is there also something going on with Meghan being somehow or another on a fixated persons list so that she cannot go to the castles and whatnot? I mean, I don't know. It just occurred to me. So I thought, okay, I'll read on that in another reading. Okay, I'm going to be using the Dark Mansion Tarot, one of my favorites, and the Galactic Star Tarot for this reading, which I haven't used these super lots. Well, the Dark Mansion I do, but the Galactic Star I have not. So I'm curious what it brings in. So let's see. Open the Holy Circle. Speak blessings into my water. All right, let's get started. This one we're going to start off with, I want to know, does Doria know that her daughter is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Now, I say that, and I don't mean anything disparaging for people who have mental illnesses. I have my moments of that too, I'm sure. But what I want to know is, does Doria know that her daughter is, if not a dark triad personality, then definitely a malignant narcissist? And if you've ever had one in your life, you know they're absolutely deadly. And they have one mission, and I'm sorry to say it, but it's to kill you. on the etheric level, on the etheric plane. I've seen this happen in my own family. They're going to destroy you. In fact, we've got a divorce going on in our family right now. And there's a child involved. And the father, who is a narcissist, or he's got a strong level of psychopathy. It's just madness what he comes up with for the courts to digest. And I just, you have to have strong angels and strong faith and strong whatever you call in for dealing with a narcissist. And so I really feel for the royal family because Meghan's put them through it. I mean, she really is like a cuckoo bird, where the cuckoo bird goes into the nest of another bird and basically 5 of Swords. Oh, yeah. Doria knows. The cuckoo bird goes into the nest and basically kills off the other chicks or the other birds, baby birds, and then, convinces the mother that it's part of her offspring. And isn't that what Meghan's really done? In fact, one of the readings I'm going to do later is, does Harry have any clue at all that Meghan cannot truly channel his mother? I think that's so weird to use that psychopathy to convince somebody. And we all know Harry's probably not mentally sharp, the sharpest tool. But to use someone's grief and trauma to convince them that you're channeling their dead relative, it's a special kind of psychopathy. I'm sorry to say, but, I don't have a whole lot of pity for Harry because he definitely was given the advice to leave that one alone. But he wanted what he wanted. And so he's not leaving her. So he seems perfectly happy to me. So the question is, or the questions are, and I'm going to do these quickly so that we can get through this. These 3 questions. Does Doria know that Meghan is damaged? Was Doria in on the grift from the beginning? And is Doria crooked? Now, this is all allegedly. I'm going to ask these questions quickly in up and down reversals. No, and upright positive, yes, she did know. Let's just go through this and discuss it. Again, we're just standing at the fence line telling stories. Kind of like Tool Time. Do you remember Tool Time? Did you ever watch that? No. It was called I think it was called Home Improvement. And the star was Tim somebody. Anyway, he would go out to the fence and talk to his neighbor. And you could never see anything but the neighbor's eyes. And it was so cute when they did it. Anyway, that's what we're doing here. We're just going to see what we can find out. Okay. Does Doria know that Meghan is damaged? And does Doria know, or does Doria think she's just fine? I mean, maybe she thinks her daughter is perfectly right and everybody else is wrong. It may be that she thinks that Meghan's her flower, as she calls her flower. I just don't know that. I mean, Meghan's so. I mean, supposedly, if it's true or not, I don't know. But if she was really a yacht girl, as is rumored, I would think that means she was willing to do whatever she had to do to get the goals that she wanted. And it may even mean that she was sexualized at a very young age, allegedly, and that she was taught how to, that photo of her and Doria sitting on a bench and they're counting money. One day I'm going to do a reading on who took that photo. I want to know. I mean, that's not an attractive thing for a mother and daughter, as young as Meghan was, to be out. I can remember, of course, I'm from an older generation. I'm 64, but my mother-in-law, they just didn't talk about money, and they sure wouldn't have handed me, you know, my mother would not have handed me cash on a bench out in front of everybody to count. Anyway, so does Doria know that her daughter, Meghan Markle, is damaged? One more. Okay, let's see, because we don't know. Let's find out. Underlying energy, King of Wands in reverse. Well, that's not a healthy energy, is it? That's kind of making me feel like it's leading into some of the questions that I'm going to ask later. Seven of Pentacles. She doesn't think, Doria doesn't think there's anything wrong with trying to get money in any way necessary. For that card so far, that's just working. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Again, there's nothing wrong to Doria about hunting for a better life or trying to grab the goodies. There's nothing wrong with that from her perspective. Nine of Cups. That can be obsession, addiction, anything like that. She is pretty convinced that other people have these things. Why can they not have these things? Meghan's just doing a job. I'm sorry, I forgot to show you the Wheel of Fortune. These are pretty cool cards, I think. And then the Seven of Pentacles. I'm sorry, I should have showed those. See a farmer in his garden collecting the pentacles. So that's already a no. Meghan, Doria doesn't think that she's damaged. Judgment in reverse. She just thinks people are being hard on her. In fact, this is a bride and a groom and an angel singing in the background, playing a horn, a saxophone in the background. She thinks that Meghan took on a lot of flack to get married in the royal family. And then Seven of Wands in reverse. She feels like her daughter's battling and trying to make her life better, and there's nothing wrong with that. So as far as Doria is concerned, her daughter is not doing anything different than anyone else does to get ahead, but she's getting more criticism, allegedly. All right, now let's look at, was Doria in on the grift from the beginning? If we call it a grift. Now, mind you, what the cards are saying is that Doria doesn't consider catching Harry a grift, or that merching anything is a grift. She considers that, you know, they've got it, Harry and Meghan have got to make their way. That this is just the way to make a living. And you know, when we look at it from this perspective for Doria, you can kind of see that if you don't really understand how the royal family works, and especially if you're marrying into a rigid, old, shall we say, Anglo family, with a lot of rules and regulations, she might have thought, well, they just don't understand. They're, you know, they weren't nice to Princess Diana, and they're not being nice to my daughter either. So let's find out. I mean, she may not feel like it's quote unquote a grift, or that there was a hooking of Prince Harry, so to speak, and that this was maybe not some big, maybe she doesn't think that anything that they've done is wrong. that Meghan and Harry are doing is wrong. So we'll see. Upright, yes. She was in on it as a plan. Reversals, no. Okay, Nine of Pentacles in reverse is the underlying energy. Again, this is making plans. This is a happy family. You can see there's kind of a big house and a castle in the background. Lots of money. There's nothing, I mean, from a woman's perspective, from possibly her perspective, there's nothing wrong with making a match, you know? They thought they were in love with each other. She thinks that Harry and Meghan were in love with each other, so there's nothing wrong with that. Knight of Swords. Okay, this is change, words, rushing in. This is upright, but I get the feeling that Meghan was too much of a change agent in Doria's mind. So in her mind, it wasn't necessarily a grift for Meghan to catch Harry, but that they moved too fast for the royal family. So we'll see. Let's see what else. Let's keep reading. The Fool. Upright. New beginnings. There's nothing wrong with new beginnings. That Meghan was a new beginning as far as Doria is concerned. A new energy. You can see the doggy trying to hold his friend back from going off the cliff. Along with the Knight of Swords card, Doria is very well aware that the royal family wanted to take longer for the two of them to get married. And she feels like that may have even been part of a plan to, you know, break them up. But that everything just went too fast for this love match. The World. All Meghan and Harry were trying to do was have a happy life. What they could have had was the whole world. This is upright, but again, I am reading that Doria felt like they were just trying to have a happy family, travel the world. There's nothing wrong with these things. As you can see, she's holding up a world in the center there, and then there's all the portraits around. This is the royal family basically being trying to shut them down and hold them back. And in her mind, in Doria's mind, it was not a grift. It was a love match. Judgment again, this time upright. She feels like Meghan came in for a lot of judgment. Some of these are wearing black. Some are more in white. She knows that their wedding made a lot of people unhappy. So as far as it being, I asked the question probably wrong because it never occurred to me that Doria saw this as a completely innocent love match. Five of Cups in reverse. Crying over spilt milk. Crying over the past, crying over what's done is done, what can't be undone. And back in the back of this, there's a castle. Honestly, Doria just thinks that Meghan is her flower and that she had a right to marry the man she loved, and a lot of people cried about it, and it's just too bad. Suck it, you know? I mean, that's how she feels, is suck it. She thinks that so many people have judged them and been critical of them that it's just caused so much unhappiness. in their marriage and everything. And yes, she doesn't always get along with her daughter, who does. We all don't. We all get, we all have our issues with our parents now and again. But there's been so much gossip and so much incorrect gossip that she feels like it's gotten in the way of their happiness, because this is in reverse. In fact, the next card underneath it of the underlying energy is the Four of Swords in reverse. And of course, that's ill health. She feels like all of this criticism and all of this gossip, and it's just made Harry and Meghan's marriage and their relationship really, really sick. And she's actually proud of them for staying together. She's proud of them. So the last reading I want to do, and I hope I asked this question better, because I should have asked that differently. It never occurred, I guess, in my mind, we see what we see, but it may not necessarily be the way that Doria or Meghan sees it. What I want to know is Doria crooked? There's been all these stories about her being in jail and blah, blah, blah. Who knows? We don't know that. I mean, no paperwork that I know of has been found. And that may be some more of that horrible gossip that Doria's thinking about, right? I mean, we don't know that those years that she was missing, if she wasn't in a cult. I mean, they got married, her and Doria and Thomas Markle got married by somebody that I consider a holy man, Yogananda. And he writes a wonderful book called the Yogi, Autobiography of a Yogi. It's a wonderful book. I mean, so I consider him, I mean, what a lovely thing to be married by Yogananda Paramasa. But she could have been off doing, mission work. She could have been taking care of family. Who knows? Just because, until we have paperwork saying that she was, actually arrested or anything. I mean, we don't know. So let's ask the cards, though. Is Doria crooked? Is there anything about her that is unsavory? Is she, they talk about that $9 million that somehow or another ended up in her account. Do we know that? I mean, excuse me. Do we know that, though? I mean, let's ask the cards. Is she crooked? Upright, yes, and Four of Wands, upright. Upright, positive, reversal's negative, upright, positive, reversal's negative. Is Doria dishonest? Is she crooked? One more. Let's just find out what the cards say. And this is just gossip, allegedly. Let's see what they say. Because we really don't know. I don't think anyone has ever come up with any true documentation about Three of Wands in reverse. So this is a beautiful card. You got choices. You got places to go. You got things to, this person's got their bags and packed, and she's got choices. She has places to think about, decisions to make. Maybe she just was traveling. Maybe that was her thing. And maybe Thomas was perfectly happy to raise Meghan. Let's keep reading. Ace of Pentacles. Definitely she has a strong interest in money. Yes, she is dishonest. Interestingly, there's a hand coming out here to kind of hold up that coin. Kind of reminds me of the photo of Meghan and Doria sitting on that bench counting money. Let's continue. Page of Swords in reverse. Well, this is child energy, right? It's also sort of immature energy. I get the feeling she was just too young to be a mom. And she went off for a while. And her and Thomas Markle their marriage had some issues, and she just wasn't happy. And getting married was not her thing. I don't know if it's true or not. And please understand that, because I don't want to spread anything. But apparently she lives with a lady now. And maybe it was that she went on a journey and realized that, being married to a man was not her cup of tea. Seven of Swords in reverse. He's going off with the treasures. He's going off with his tools, he's very sneaky. He's going across and he's being very, very sneaky. So she may have just taken off and not really left a forwarding address for a while or whatever. The High Priestess is secrets. We know that she supposedly, allegedly, Meghan and Doria have some interest in the esoteric or the occult. I don't know that that's true either. I mean, we know that Meghan does a lot of manifesting, but, it could be that she was just off seeking her own identity, her own autonomy. And then the Emperor upright. She just didn't want to be married anymore to Thomas Markle. Marriage just wasn't what she thought it was going to be. It may be that she thought she was marrying up and it just wasn't worth it for her. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, a soft yes. 1, 2, 3, upright. Yes, she is a little crooked, a little dishonest. There may be some smoke and mirrors around her story, her backstory. The Hermit in reverse, that's Harry. And then the Chariot upright, that's William. Oh, William knows. He knows whatever it is that's going on with Doria in her background. He does know. William knows. I'm going to do a reading later, if I can get to it today, on MI5 and whether they're woke or any good or what they... This is Harry in reverse. Harry doesn't believe it. He does not believe anything bad about Meghan Markle or her mom. He just doesn't. So that didn't go the way I thought it would. But anyway, thank you so much for being here for this reading. Like I said, I'm going to try to get out a couple more today, and maybe a healing if I can get to it. Good luck to everybody who's cheering for their favorite team today in the World Cup. And if this was fun, if you thought it was interesting, please like and subscribe. It's free, and I really appreciate my subscribers. I love doing this. I love having you here, and I hope that you'll join me for the next one. Bye-bye.